All right. Hello, everyone. This is our unofficial season 3, episode 1, but it's not. This is like we'll call this a bonus episode. I think that's
There you go.
safer. Yeah, bonus episode. So, got our co-host Mitch Hartman. Mitch, how are we doing today?
I'm back on 2 feet, so that's a good start.
And we have a guest today, brought back to help us with all of our topics today. Dave Waite of 35th Ave. Dave, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. Just had a full day today, skated this morning, and then went to the fair with my wife, and then came home and skated again, and now I'm here. So no complaints.
Awesome. I love that double skating. What's the weather like out by you guys now? What's the temperature?
65 today, so it's pretty mellow. Like we had months of 85 to 95, and then this Saturday was kind of a hot day. I think it almost got to 90, and then you can just see in the forecast it's nothing but gray skies and like mid 60s to low 70s from here on out. So I feel like that's kind of the end of summer, and we're in the fall weather already.
So we're in like
We
a
got-
hot streak right now. It's like the
Yeah, it
next
sucks.
6 days in a row
Oh.
are like in the high 90s.
Man, I've just been like trying to wear like any thin shirt that I own, and like only wearing like I got some lightweight Dickies that are like pretty nice, but I can't even think about. It's just been so
Yeah.
muggy. I hate having thick clothes on. So it's nice to wear a hoodie today.
I feel you on that one. Because I could try and go out later. If it's hot, I'll try and go out at like 7 or 8 at night for a little bit, for like an hour, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday here are going to be in the 90s, and not looking
Damn.
forward to it. With all of that said, to go with our shitty East Coast temperatures over here, since the core shoe episode was such a success, I figure we would say let's fucking do one on the corporate shoe brands, and I guess they're no less innocent than the core shoe brands at what they do. So we have the trusty, the randomizer here, and I put a couple names in here, and we'll pick them out and go, and pros and cons and whatnot of each brand. Globe is not in here. Mitch said not to put Globe in. Is Globe considered corporate? I would consider it a corporate, like, I mean, they're like a sandal company, right, that makes shoes? It's a weird one.
Well, the backing too is pretty corporate from what I understand now. So I don't know. Are probably way more corporate shoe brands than skater-owned core shoe brands
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
That's why when we were talking, we even said like DC. Like, I'm sure Quicksilver at this point is like publicly traded, so I'm sure.
Well, didn't you see that it recently went through? They sold all
Oh,
of
really?
that. So it's been sold. So Quicksilver, yeah, I just got an email about it last week. So DC, Quicksilver, Element, that stuff all got sold. So there's going to be a new. I'm not familiar with the owner, but it's just another
Yeah.
hedge fund probably type front. So it doesn't really matter.
Draw one out of the hat. We'll get started.
First.
That's good. See, Dave has all the insight into what's going on in the skate universe.
I got to fill my day with something.
Yeah, they don't make Transworld business anymore.
Nope.
All right, so here we go. First one, DC.
Called it.
Oh,
Oh
Yeah.
man.
Manifested that one.
so I guess we can start with this one. When is the last time either of you have... Oh,
Yeah, come on.
this isn't gonna... Yeah, I know. But when is the last time either of you have owned and skated in a DC shoe?
I bought a pair of DCs yesterday.
What you talking about, Willis?
Nocturnal posted something that they found
Can
a
I-
pair of those K-less links, like the K-links that they did, the shop collab ones. They found a pair in my size in the back.
Sick.
They posted it on their story. And my homie Tony out in LA like sent me the story right away. He's like, yo, they got your size, get them. So, I love those when I had them the first time.
Can I grab something? I'll be right
Oh, man.
just one
It's
sec.
already got props.
Are those links
So
too?
these were a gift. It's the Lynx HE, which is like a slim down version. And so Monty, he hooked me up with these. Big homie
Yeah.
Mont. So Lynx Zero, sorry.
Yeah. Hero.
So he gave them to me. I'm like, so I'm gonna try.
That
I had the DC Clockers, the bronze ones,
Yeah.
the Clockers, but I didn't skate them. But I did wear them out to dinner once.
Yeah, I have a pair in reaching distance of those that I bought very on a whim and have never worn them. They're just sitting
You
in
get
the
the
box.
brown ones?
Are they navy?
Yeah,
They
the
must
royal
be navy.
blue and black ones, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one that I got.
I had the brown ones. I was a sucker for brown. I was like, those are almost pretty cool. I got to get them. And I was like, I can't skate these things.
Yeah, I've definitely skated some links
Yeah,
over the last couple of years. Like I had to get the ones Jameer had. I had to get Kev's. I mean, it's a lot of shoe. It's pretty big, especially coming from like we were skating Dunks and Tiagos and whatever. So it's like even big compared to those. Personally, I'm not a fan of that Lynx Zero sole, and now they keep putting out more shoes on that sole. I'm sure it's way cheaper to use that sole than like the Lynx OG sole, but yeah, they just keep pumping out like keep putting K-less ones on it, or they're putting whatever. There's 100 colorways of that one, but like when the OGs come out, they sell out pretty much right away.
I think they managed to do something that a lot of the core shoe brands didn't do. And right now, off the bat, we've all owned one. Like whether it was given, you're thinking about trying it. They're at least up there where we've bought them or have been given them and would willingly try them, which is pretty crazy. It's DC. They're not for me, but I think they're doing it right for the lane they're trying to steer in. They're doing it really well. The Shanahan shoe.
Yeah, people seem to love it.
I wouldn't, 10, 20 years ago, I would have worn it.
Yeah.
But it looks like a shoe from 20 years ago. Like they pulled it off. I think it was executed well, just not my thing.
And I'll give them that. Like they don't feel shitty. Like when you hold it in hand, like it feels heavy. It feels solid. Like it feels like a 20 years ago shoe. Like it's not like, we made this one that kind of looks like the one we put out 20 years ago. It's like, no, it legit is like a bulky, solid shoe.
Yeah, I put them on my foot. There's no way I could skate those things. It's cool looking down at it, and I feel like my pants are probably an appropriate size where I don't look like a goofball with them on. I feel like you got to be a certain amount of bagginess to be able to even mess with that shoe. And I love John Shanahan, so it's like that shoe looks cool. Put one on my foot, and I was like, it's like having a cast on my foot or something. Like I couldn't feel my board. Like I don't know. It's more your guys' wheelhouse for sure as far as like style, approach to skating. Like it would match up with your aesthetic and your trick selection a lot better than mine. So I would just be like, I don't know. There's kind of like a stigma around certain old guys where they've just taken like 5 genres of skating and smashed them into one person. And so it just looks kind of out of place. And that would be, if I wore them, I would look so out of place.
Yeah, I definitely get the like local, like, it's all those Muni kids are all the ones that are wearing it. So it's like I'm seeing Penny and Kev and all those guys wearing them already. And like, I mean, they set it off 15 years ago at this point. Like Penny was getting all the old ones that he could find on eBay and whatever. And like, they kind of made that resurgence happen themselves. Like they've kind of forced DC's hand to like, guys, you need to make these again. Like, it looks cool. They're doing it.
And it works. Honestly, like I said, I don't think with any of those, we kept saying if Wade had a shoe, if they made a Shanahan shoe. And unlike the S, they have the logo on the tongue. That was like the first thing I checked. I think it says DC or Shanahan, so it says it on the tongue, where S just has nothing if they have a shoe with a strap. And the strap comes off, decent. I think they make basic shoes too, but I've seen zero appeal in their like vulcanized shoes or the fake Chuck Taylor looking shoes they make. I don't see any appeal in that, but I think they're in their lane doing their thing, and I don't think they need to change anything. I think they got it all under control for what they're looking for, if that makes any sense.
Oh, I was just saying, like, I think they kind of doubled down on that when it came to like when they dropped Team, where it's like you got rid of Wes Kramer, you got rid of Evan Smith, you're like that, it's like, no, we're gonna put everything going in this direction now, like doing these collabs with Kalis and doing these putting Thrasher colorways on his shoes and things like that. Just kind of like, all right, we're locked into going this way now.
That that Kayla's collab was the worst thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, it wasn't great. But again, that was that Link Zero sole.
It was just weird with the yellow and the camouflage and
Yeah.
all the everything with it. It was like anything would have been cooler. That was like really bad.
Same thing. They did that Phillies colorway of the Kalis 1, but then they put the stupid Link Zero sole on it.
How do you guys feel about the Palace connection? Because, like, I see they're going this direction, and they, like painted all these shoes custom and things like that. And I'm just like, I don't know if I see DC and Palace being like the best marriage as far as like, is that Palace customer going to want a pair of Links? I'm not sure. I don't know if that's the same lane. Maybe it is.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, you got like the Jameer connection that like kind of.
they have Jameer and Lucian Clark, who I guess lost his shoe with Louis Vuitton, so it was like, yeah, DC, and they're trying to do that. So I don't know. Even they have it in their attempts. Hey, let's try and go a little more high end. We got these Palace guys. At least they're thinking about it. And again, it's like, all right, it's Lucian Clark. I like his skating. You got a guy like Jameer. I like his skating. Kevin Bilyeu. I like his skating. There's guys. I almost pulled the trigger on those Bilyeu links like 20 times in one night. Like, no joke. Like, I can't wear these. But maybe I can. No, I can't. And I went back and forth. But I do. Is a Palace person gonna wear these? I mean, what's a Palace person though? Is there most of their stuff like skaters aren't buying that $500 sweaters. So I don't know how that trickles down. But maybe some of the skate kids. I mean, DC reminds me of almost like New Balance, where people are actually wearing them now willingly, not oh, I got them for free, I guess.
Yeah, it's not really a fashion connection per se, I think, with DC. But I have a couple kids locally that are like super into that aesthetic. They wear butter goods, like they like all those clunky shoes, and it is an aesthetic and it is kind of a vibe. And I feel like Jameer is probably like the main, more than Lucian. I have nothing against Lucian. I just feel like he's kind of the one that's like spearheading that aesthetic to a specific like genre or demographic of skaters.
Definitely. I think
Sure.
Lucian,
Look at like he's putting out footage constantly. Like he looks like, dude, switch front nose slide, that 10 rail at Muni is ridiculous.
if Lucian was hurt, maybe, but I have a feeling too, like he was kind of on that Louis Vuitton kick, and that got pulled out from under him, and it's like, oh, I got to skate again.
Yeah, but he's also not like 22 like Jameer is. Like Jameer's like maybe 24, 25.
All right, so I guess and Dave, so at your shop, the DC, like, is DC, so you stock, probably 3 or 4 models from them, I'm going to guess? You don't do more than that, do you?
We don't even have any DCs in stock. So I'm working on trying to bring a couple in, but I'm trying to, we have some shoe kind of snafus, I guess, right now I'm trying to clean up. So I'm hoping by spring I'll be able to try a couple styles.
Yeah, I think they were kind of selective on who could get the
happens.
links and stuff like that originally. Like there were shops that are, around here where like obviously like they have a small DC account, but they couldn't get the legacy stuff.
Oh, that's interesting. Because that's all that's like cool is the legacy stuff.
Yeah, so like, but they'll get like the the Link Zeros and all that stuff, but they can't get the OGs because they don't make a lot of them. That's why the shoe sells out all the time too. Is because it's like it's not, shops aren't getting the bulk numbers that they are of those other ones where it's like, oh, 4 colorways of a Link Zero this season, but there's 1 run of Kev's shoe and that's it. Because they're so expensive for them to make, I'm sure.
When we had DC, basically right as COVID was starting, it was like run after run of links that just weren't selling. So we ended up having to send them all back. And I feel like it was just a little early, right? So if you go back to 2019, that genre of skating was still kind of being developed. Sabotage crew is like going super hard, but you weren't seeing nationwide. I felt like it was just in their zone specifically. So where we were, if I was selling them, it was online.
Yeah, people that
like I
buying them here,
maybe a pair
were buying them.
Didn't matter how cool the colors were. The only one that really checked was the very original re-release of the Lynx OG. That was the one that we sold the best.
Yep.
I think it was the gray and red. We sold out of that one, and then everything after, just sell 3 pairs, send back.
We kind of talked about that with like when we did the core brands one, like with all those S reissues. It's like Yeah, somebody will buy that Krieger reissue for $130 once, but they're not buying it every colorway that comes out.
And I guess what I wanted to say is that they're pretty good with their returns, right? As far as like a shop and dealing with them, I've heard they're very easy to deal with.
They were for sure back then.
Right.
I don't know about now. Our rep was really good. So he would actually come to the shop and box them up himself, and then just take them to UPS for us. So he was dedicated to making the brand work. And unfortunately, we just didn't have that. We just didn't catch.
Out by me at Bunger, I remember they were like, yeah, they got in there like, well, we'll take back what doesn't sell, and they were like, all right, we can't say no, and I think they ended up taking a lot back. But again, I think now it's a stronger market than it was, 5-6 years ago. All right, we'll reach in for another brand. Anything out DC, right? Pretty much.
I think we're good.
Because we know we'll never see a Howard reissue again. They have that Howard.
I think the Shanahan's closest thing you're going to get to that. Oh man,
Reebok. So, did you see the Club C Fat or whatever the hell they call it? It's the worst thing I've ever seen. And it's like they took, which is funny because when these companies get into it, so you had the Reebok DGK shoe 15, 20 years ago, whenever the hell that was. And the one thing they did wrong was branded DGK, where they only had DGK riders on it. But the shoe was like a workout plus or whatever, skatable. It was actually pretty cool, minus that they stretched out like 8 sizes. They weren't making like weird, goofy skate shoes. It was just that one shoe. I don't know what the hell this is now or what their thinking is, because they took a shoe that was totally skatable and just made it a shit show.
Yeah, everybody wants a big, fat, puffy skater shoe, and they just had no clue what they were doing.
And, they're one too. They've done collabs with Palace. They've done, like Bronze.
Yeah.
And they've had their foot where you're doing stuff with these people who are kind of making cool stuff, and you can get in with that. Like, they could have just released a Suede Club C and been done with it. That was it. That was all they had to do with like a softer sole.
I totally forgot about the Bronze ones. Didn't they release like an Iverson or something a couple years ago?
They did do that too. They did, yeah. They did an Iverson.
So good.
I would like to see that Club C in person. Just like I've seen photos of it and it looked kind of bad, looked pretty bad. But anytime I see that, I'm just like, without seeing it, the quality of like the materials or seeing like the tooling or whatever, I don't know. I don't want to trash them too badly because obviously someone there is like, oh, that fits the style right now. Without I could tell they didn't put too much thought or time into it. It's just kind of like there must have been a skater or someone who's just like, yeah, that's fine. That one looks okay. And you're right. They could have, just with a little bit of effort, it would have done so much better, and it probably would have hit really
even like
hard.
the marketing images for it were like all like some generic, skate park kid or whatever. Like it wasn't anybody. Like you could have found one person that didn't have a shoe deal, brought them in, and just given it some legitimacy.
Yeah, it's a weird one because, again, I see a lot of potential there. They had the program before with a good shoe. It just blew my mind when I saw that. Like, who are they fooling with this? Like, what the hell's the point of this? But, I don't know. That shoe sucks.
Just recently I watched that DGK RBK Barcelona trip video that's on YouTube now. It like disappeared for a long time and all of a sudden it's back out again. There's some really good shit in there.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
Oh, you should check it out. It's like, I think it was like a promo DVD that came out for a while, and then like it kind of like never caught on, and then but yeah, it's on YouTube now, and you can see it. And it's like they spent like a month in Barcelona, and it's just all that whole crew. But they were the first ones to really do that, where they like aligned a specific board company before like Habitat and Element and all those people did it.
Element had shoes before that, I think.
Before DGK?
Yeah, I think there was Element shoes.
I know they did it. I don't know which one came first.
We carried the Reebok shoes, and that was definitely way before Element made shoes. Because Element shoes didn't, at least a couple years, because there was like, Element was blowing up, but it wasn't quite their yet. You know what I mean? Like it was a strange time in footwear because we're talking like 2008,
Yeah,
maybe,
DK was
or
like
9. I mean,
2002,
we
2000,
carried them.
or maybe no. Sorry, it was like 2006 ish. So I remember hanging out at Northeast Exit.
Yeah, because it was one of my team riders was super into it. He loved DGK, and when we had the shoes, he was like tripping out. And that's a long time ago that he quit. So I mean, I'm thinking about back to when those shoes came out, and they were kind of like
Yeah,
sizing was kind of weird. KO distributed them, which is even weirder that you're not getting it from Reebok, you're getting it from KO. So I wonder what behind the scenes, actually went down when they created that kind of RBK DGK
It's
thing.
also pretty weird that it killed all those dudes' careers almost who were on it. They didn't get on anything else after. I mean, was Jack Curtin was lucky enough to get on Fallen?
yeah, yeah. Like
But a
even
lot of
Wade,
those
it took
dudes
him a
couldn't
long
get
time to
sponsored.
get on S.
Yep. It was like a stigma or something. Lenny Rivas was done after that. Like, yeah, it was. I think they made decent money when they were on, and I get Stevie trying to look out for him, but yeah, it really hurt them in the long run. I guess it's the 4th of July here. I don't know if you hear all
I
those
was gonna say,
fireworks.
what the hell is that?
Whoa, I that's what I was wondering. I was like, damn, there's some feedback or something in my headphones. Yeah, and that's Reebok's third.
Box.
They
Yeah,
did box in the. Yeah, that was Salema Masakela. He was the man behind it, and so when he was on the 9 Club, he talked about how trying to get them to do just the Club C, just do those
they
basic
were
shoes, and they
so
wanted no
crazy
part of it.
looking.
They wanted to make this. Yeah, and it did not
Yeah.
work at all.
Oh, and wasn't Ice Cream Reebok? I think Ice Cream was Reebok.
Man, I don't know because we
Yeah, I
didn't
think it
carry
was
it.
Ice Cream was Reebok.
So
Yeah.
interesting. So
Yeah.
four attempts then maybe.
And that one, I don't know if it was a success. That depends who the hell you ask, because that was god awful. The board flip. They sold those at Foot Locker, I remember. God, what a shit shoe.
That sole
All
was the thickest thing I've ever seen.
I never saw a pair of those ice cream shoes in person. I don't think. Maybe like from afar, but not like I wasn't able to hold them in my hand. But sadly, I did because I would order every video that came out for the shop. I did order that video, and then it never sold, and people would just make so much fun of me for having the ice cream video in the store.
I would
So,
see them around because
there you
Gorecki
go.
was here, and like those guys would come through once in a while. That's how like Jacob Walder and those random kids.
Yeah. I remember, I think the shop by me had that ice cream video too. And it's the same thing, it sat there till it was on sale.
Oh, we had it for sure at G Spot.
I don't think anybody ever bought it.
All right, so can we put the nail in the coffin on Reebok? Hopefully they stop before they get started again.
I never really considered them to be in skateboarding. It was just kind of like they just tried to make a shoe maybe marketed towards skate. It's like skate adjacent. So that's how I view it.
But on to the next one, gentlemen.
Yeah, let's go.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Nike.
lots to talk about.
Nike.
Love them or hate them, right?
I don't think there's any hate. At least, I mean,
Not from, I don't think any of us anyway, but
yeah, I'm sure.
from the core crowd, Nike is evil. No, it's
Not up here.
I just remember we were doing like in the comments, it's like Nike, these corporate companies, socialist elite, support S.
But then those people have clips at like West LA Courthouse or LES or something else that like Nike helped get built.
I think they make good shoes and they make terrible shoes. But I don't have any issues with them. I think they have a diversified team. I think there's something there for everybody, if you look at it.
A lot of people got paid for a long time in skateboarding.
Yeah.
Like they hired a ton of people, hired a ton of skateboarders.
Yeah.
They did it right. Like they found people from the start that knew what they were doing.
It would be tough. It would be tough for us to still be in business without them. It's definitely a big chunk of our sales each month. We're thankful for dunk allocations, and they really, I guess I could put this out there. I mean, they help pay for our remodel. So they gave us a credit, to help pay for our remodel. So it's basically like, here, take this. This, when we closed down during COVID and we extended the store. So I don't see any other shoe brands doing that kind of thing, by helping us out, keeping us going. So I have nothing but love for Nike as far as our rep is awesome. He's a great guy, treated us well. So as far as like running a business and like flexibility, and as far as product offering, no one is at that level. Everybody else is kind of like chasing them, as far as I can see.
I mean, up until recently, before the Asics, I was pretty much wearing Dunks. It was Dunks or Tiagos. Love the shoe. I think it's the best silhouette of a shoe. Blazers, super sick shoe. I always say the Grant Taylor Blazers. If I wasn't old and had a bad back and whatever, Grant Taylor Blazer would be my shoe. I love that shoe. I think it's the best skating shoe. Super good board feel. Yeah, I think even from when it started with SB started, and it took them a bunch too to get it going. But I think definitely
there were definitely some misses in the beginning, but I mean they started off and the Dunks were one of the first shoes they put out. And it's still going now, 20 something years later. It's like
it's still going, and how many companies copy that shoe?
Oh yeah, everybody has a Dunk version.
All of them.
Yeah, it's true.
There was an era though when it was pretty looked pretty bad. Maybe I'm trying to think of the years. A lot of people call it the blue box era. I guess.
What is that, like the 2010, 2011? Like,
yeah, predating that kind of Tiffany Dunk High relaunch.
Yeah, where they were on clearance everywhere.
I feel like that was kind of, they had bad dunk after bad dunk. And I hate to say it, but the reseller market is kind of what probably catapulted them back into that space, just because you've got all these people hunting down shoes that had cool stories though and cool colorways. So it was kind of like, what we're making is generating interest from outside of skateboarding again. So it's kind of pushing people back to the skate shop. So as far as I could tell, there was just a point where it was like, these shoes all got to be $30 to get out of here, So we were selling Dunks for $29.99, which is kind of crazy.
And those Dunks now are worth so much.
So, no. But I will say this: we did just have a drop of black and white Dunks, and we sold 70% of them in about 4 hours, and we had a considerable amount of pairs. So the demand is still there. It's probably more at just a regular consumer level of people just wanting the shoes.
That's the people that's buying the black and white ones and the gray ones and whatever.
Friday was a crazy day. I'll just say that I worked my butt off that day. It was a great day for the store, but can be. But then you still have
ones that get that extra, the reseller and whoever excitement, like the Utos and whatever recently that people are into.
Yeah, if the colorway's solid enough. Udo's color was definitely, we had a lot of calls about that before the raffle we did. I can see though it's not what it was waning, it's I think they're still gonna it's still gonna sell, but probably I don't think people need to have 30 pairs of Dunks anymore. I think that they're definitely getting more and more selective about what pair they're getting next.
I remember when with the SB line, so I want to say it was I'm going to say the third line. Some people say the second, because the first one was the grip tapes and those all maroon ones. And then went to the first four and then the second run. But I remember being able to just get those, and there was the shop by me. The one dude was like, anything left after 2 weeks, $40. And I remember I didn't work for, I want to say 2 years. I was just reselling Dunks. I don't know, there's no other brand of shoe in skating that I would have been able to do that off of. So I thought that was pretty cool. And helps the shops out. The shops get sales. I'm sure it's a headache with the raffles and the people you got to deal with, but hopefully at least one or two of them comes in and buys something else along with their Dunks. It's a product that brings people in, and they sponsor a lot of really cool skaters now, Max Palmer, Antonio Dureo. They have these dudes that they can give money to so they can skate. I'm always for that. If these guys have to work full-time jobs, they're not going to be able to skate as much, and we won't be able to see as much footage. So I think it's, again, I'm all for Nike being able to do that. And like I said, it's even better now. They do give back too, which is pretty cool.
They are the first brand that I could see from retail that was actually making a huge push for trying to diversify their teams and not just kind of focusing on young white males, which is, to me at shop level, there's a lot of different people that come to our store. And I mean, it's probably just like a marketing thing, and their marketing department is, light years ahead of everybody else. But I know there is kind of like a pure movement from within the SB department is that they're pushing for more diversity, which, and as a skater, that's my generation, like I can't help but be excited about like seeing a bunch of different types of people skating. Even today when I went to the skate park for a little bit before this, we're doing this podcast, there was a bunch of young girls there trying to like figure out how to ride down the bank. And like, there was one guy there, he was scared. They're all going for it and riding down the bank. And I was like, I thought it was so cool. I can't get enough of just seeing all the different types of people in skating. So props to them for like pushing that and making it kind of like an industry-wide kind of expectation.
Bring back the Project BA, all my dreams will be fulfilled.
Well, that shoe was right ahead of the time. Oh, here we go.
Here we go. Props.
There we go.
See, there you go.
Right.
Were you a fan of those, Dave?
Oh man, I skated.
Well, and Mitch, you had them too, right?
Oh, dude, I had every color. Literally,
the black and pink were sick.
Yep.
I thought that was the coolest color. I didn't like the running toe.
Oh, see, I like the running toe. The only ones I didn't
But is it like a faux running toe, or does it come up?
What's that?
Like the running toe on it, is it so you can't feel your board like an actual running shoe, or is it flat, it's just colored to look like that?
No, the sole wrapped up and around the tip, but it was like only the very edge of it.
But it's...
So it wouldn't like
see how
your kickflip or anything.
You can see it.
Yeah, but it's like a normal sole, and it just looks like that kind of.
Well, so the function of it is that it's lunar lawn. This part is lunar lawn, and then this part is hard rubber. So it's kind of like, here's your kickflip wear, here's your lunar lawn support, which is why I like the shoe so much, because I like the lunar lawn midsole, not the insole. Like the Converse and like some of the Nike shoes that have the insole, it felt like it packed out too quickly, and the midsole was way better.
I love the I forgot one out of here. I just realized that. But when the Cons, the One Stars had the lunar lawn insole, I loved them. And that's when their sizing was all shitty.
I'll definitely throw Nike under the bus for a few shoes. They made a lot of bad ones, dude. Like the URL, the Omar Salazar cup sole.
Ishad, like I love Ishad. Like he grew up 20 minutes away. Yeah. Like I've known him since he was a little kid. But that shoe is not good.
I blew out my Achilles in the ice shot.
They throw it all. They throw it all. And
I give them credit for that. Like at least they tried, and like now they just like. I went to a Nike outlet when I was away somewhere, and like they had rows of just all the first couple colorways, just tons of them, just getting rid of them, and like, all right, that didn't work. Move on to the next one. So I'm interested to see the new one in person.
On to the next one, New Balance. So I think with New Balance, I think they actually like really turned that whole program around, and it is insane from that initial drop when Jamie Thomas was doing whatever with them and they look like elf shoes till now where people want to just buy them. I think it's insane that they've turned the company around that much, because in the beginning it was who's buying these, it has a big N on the side, and I don't know, now especially when they have that fake dunk that isn't a fake dunk because it was before the dunk, but is that what it is?
The 508.
Oh, yeah, I think he's talking about the 480.
Yeah, it's called the 508.
480. I think it's a 480.
480? Okay, sorry, you're right. 480. I get those numbers mixed up. I'm probably the worst person to ask about being specific like that.
It's confusing. And I know the higher the number, the more tech they have in the shoe. But yeah, those I thought was cool. I don't understand why they haven't gone the dunk route and released a 550 for shops specifically to try and even if they don't skate well, just make some exclusive colorways in that, because that's like the mainstream cool New Balance now. It's like an old basketball shoe, but I don't understand why they haven't just made like a limited color, like a Tiago colorway of that, and given it to the shops in a small run to bring in some outside non-skate business. Probably don't want to, I don't know, but just my 2 cents.
I was gonna say, like, we just got the Reynolds color of that.
The 480.
You said it was the 480. Yeah, 480, and it looks really nice. I haven't tried them on yet, but they look.
Oh, I didn't realize they were out yet.
Well, we got them early.
Gotcha.
We can't sell them till the 15th.
Oh, cool. Okay, so not that rust. I love that rust color one, that like brown and white. Did you guys get those in the Navy? Did those do well?
No, I didn't get that one in yet. New Balance for us is kind of an interesting one. I'm still trying to figure out which SKU is kind of the hitter, because we went heavy with both Tiagos, and they've done okay. I still sell the 1010 pretty well. What's the other one? The 880?
Those suck.
808, sorry. It's kind of a brick. The sole is pretty brick-like.
I had the all brown ones because I was like, this is the best colorway, and I was like, I'm skating worse than normal, and I was like, it's the fucking shoe. This thing is. It was like, it felt like an old globe or something. Like it was like the tongue itself even is like this big, but the 1010s, when they're cut properly, that's like the unstoppable shoe. I really think that's worth every penny of that shoe. But it's just been inconsistent.
Yeah, I think that was the biggest issue. Like, I loved them for the longest time, but like about a year ago, the shape changed and the durometer of the sole even felt harder. Like, you couldn't break them in. And it's like, but then the next season will come and they'll be back to normal. So it's like you almost have to wait and see. So I wound up with like a closet full of Tiagos that I was like, oh, I can't wear these.
Dave, have you skated Tiagos?
Yeah, it's one of those shoes though that has a very thin foot liner, and I'm pretty like hell bent on the footprint, like King Foam orthotic insole, and it has to fit in the shoe a certain way. So like they have a thinner one that I tried in that Tiago, and it's okay, but it just didn't feel that grippy. The sole just didn't feel like it had that good a grip for me, and honestly, I just felt like the aesthetic kind of didn't really match me. So I was like looking down at them, and I think they're cool. It's like, this is like, I just think of you. Honestly, I think of you guys when I think of the Tiago. That's kind of like the quintessential like skater, like switch pop shove, switch nose Manny. That's what it's built for.
I kind of miss having them now.
Yeah, when I see new colorways, I'm like, yes, like let me see, and then I remember that I'm like, I can't keep going.
Yeah, I'm scared, man. So when those came out, when that Tiago shoe came out, I sold all of my dunks that I had, and I bought 10 pairs of Tiagos. I bought
not even
6 pairs of black.
Yep, I remember.
And 4 pairs of white. And I had those for probably 8 months, and I just skated through them. And they were so sick. And then the second run came out, which was a gray and red. It was gray and red and black leather with like white and maroon and blue. And they were so shitty. They were like rocks. And I remember I was so bummed, like buying them online because they didn't have them by me at the shop. So I was buying them, and I was just like, wow, this sucks. I just spent, $200+ on 2 pairs of shoes, and they feel like shit. And then the next run was was it blue-white with the ice blue sole, black-white with the ice blue sole, and I think it was the brown ones too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those were legit. Those were like back to normal, but the sizing changed. So I've had a lot of issues with that. Even when they reissued the brown ones again, that's when I gave up on them, because I was like, I had this shoe and it was amazing, and I have it now. It's the same colorway, but it's not the same shoe, and I just
that's when the sole
like,
changed.
Sucks.
The sole got so much harder.
Yep.
And but it's one of the things. I was skating the 288 for a little bit. It's like the one with like the built-in sock liner thing where like it's all one piece, like a soccer shoe. The first 2 colors, I skated the shit out of them. The next season, I couldn't wear them. They were hard as rocks. And then the season after that, back to normal, like soft again. So it's like you really just don't know. Like if they could get consistent with everything, it would be great. But I mean, and I've had conversation with people at New Balance of like, Like I'll show them the toe, even like a photo of the 2 different seasons toe boxes side by side. I'm like, this is a completely different shape. And when they try to be like, no, nothing changed, I'm like, clearly something changed.
Yeah, and that's what sucks. Oh, we lost Dave. Dave gave up on us.
Dave's phone died.
Nike canned him. He said, you can't. These guys are taught. They said something bad. You're out of here. Dave, can you? Oh, you're back.
Yeah, just all of a sudden it just crashed on my phone. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened.
So yeah, the only other thing for New Balance is I'm interested. I want to see that Tom Knox when it comes out. That should be soon, right?
He's getting an actual shoe?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
That's sick.
It's
That's
like a
sick.
500 level somewhere in there, so it's not like super teched out. Looks very soccer.
Yeah,
Yeah, I saw 2 colorways of it.
it
He
matches.
deserves it all, that dude.
It matches right up with the 440. I feel like that's kind of the lane that Tom Knox. I mean, that's the shoe he would skate anyways. Is I think the 440, and that's what I sell the most of, like those types of shoes, like thin cupsole. Like the thicker stuff does okay, and I do have a crew of older guys that love the Tiago shoes, but I'm seeing way more traction for like the Jamie Foy and the 440. But yeah, their whole program. I love the people involved, but the product has been kind of a mixed bag for the most part, as far as like what's sold when it comes in. God, this suede looks kind of bad, and they're pretty quick to try and fix things. Jason Rothmeyer is awesome. He's taken really good care of us. But the brand itself, as far as the inner workings of the brand, have been great. But yeah, I feel like it's kind of billed as a premium brand, and I feel like some of their product is premium, but there's a whole bunch of it where I'm just like, man, this is pretty budget.
Yeah, again, it's like season to season. It's not consistent, and that's where you want to be like, oh, well, I can't do this shoe again. And then you see the next season and it looks great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've seen some of those 440s that look super cheap, and then I've seen other ones where it's like, no, this is stable and sturdy, and like, I don't know what happened. But that seems to be like their like collab shoe for everybody too.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be that
It'll
that
be
new
the 480 now.
shoe. Yeah, I heard that's going to be their collab shoe.
Yeah, I know one of the
Which
shops around
is
here is
smart.
working on one for the spring, I think, but it's still going to be the 440. And then NJ just had that one come out.
Theirs look good. I like theirs a lot.
Yeah.
Those, I don't know if I'd wear it to like hang out.
Like they built the whole thing and they did a good job with it.
All right, on to the next one.
Sure.
Yeah.
Cons. Dave, do you guys even sell cons?
Yeah, we do, because one of our
Oh, you do?
One of our team riders rides for him, Dylan Clark, and Dane Barker, who's a good friend and used to ride for the shop, he does too. So, and I know all the people at Converse pretty well, so I have some connections. But yeah, the Alexis's shoe is done okay. We sell Chuck Taylor's if I can get him in a basic color. Louis' shoe does okay. It's still just pretty much Chuck Taylor's, and the 1-star slip, that one does pretty well too.
Do they? Because I haven't seen cons, because I know they're not in a lot of shops anymore.
Well, the inner workings of the brand, they really took kind of like eliminated some positions, I believe, and kind of like my friend John that works for Converse, it seems like he's pretty overwhelmed with some of his responsibilities. Or he did just get a new helper, a sub rep, I believe. So seems like he's got a little more time, but he's also running a skate shop. He's just an all around awesome guy. So he's kind of like, he just likes to be busy. But in general, yeah, I think they went through a period where it kind of wasn't working, and that's probably why people just fell off and stopped ordering them. But I see that Chuck Taylor coming back really strong with the younger crowd right now. So,
yeah, they're kind of going through that revamp because they put on Brian O'Dwyer out here, and like people seem to be really psyched on him.
Weird, because I thought they were going like mostly direct to consumer and like pulling out of shops.
huh?
Oh, that Alexis shoe seemed to do well. When we were up at Seasons, like I was talking to those guys, and they were saying that shoe sold out day one when they first got it. But they were like, he kind of said it's like it's the marketing. He was like, they did what they were supposed to, and everybody was interested. And I don't know
Well,
how
it's
they
also-
made it for that cheap. It's like there's a lot
I
of
think-
tech in that shoe for be like $80.
It's also more of an East Coast thing. I could see.
Yeah,
Like I could see that doing well
and-
Northeast. That shoe's gonna sell out.
Yeah, you run into her somewhere, and
I thought
Yeah.
it looked cool, and that was something that people haven't really done before. Is they made her shoe is a guy's shoe. Like everybody will buy it. Like
Yeah.
that's not a, which I think is
yeah,
pretty
it's not
cool.
a narrow, slim down like, this.
Yeah, it's a skate shoe.
whatever.
It just and it looks. I think it looks pretty cool. It's like a Fairlane on steroids.
Well, and they have the other cupsole that I always forget the name of. I always want to call it Star Player or Pro Leather, but
Oh,
that's
Fast break.
Fast Break
Yeah,
Pro.
Fast Break.
But that one does pretty good. It's still kind of a funky shoe though for like the fit and everything. Like it fits some people really well and other people not at all.
I feel like that's another like East Coast West Coast thing though, because I see tons of like New York people skating it, and like even people
And
here.
they probably all get them free though.
Well,
It's funny. I remember somebody was telling me like, yeah, they got these shoes, but they rip in 2 seconds because like the ollie area was nylon, and like whoever was a rep or something was like, yeah, well, the team loves them, and the dude's like, yeah, because the team doesn't pay for these. I get it. They're lasting me a day. I can't do this. But I think their program's cool. I love the 1-stars.
So they've
I don't-
had like a couple team relaunches too, right, guys? Like they've definitely
yeah.
cycled. They're on their like third or fourth iteration of the team, I think.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the team was never something where like it appealed to like what I was into. Like there was that like prevent this tragedy era, that was like people were psyched on it, but it just wasn't my thing.
I liked Raymond Molinar a lot. And what was that? The Sea Star? That was so cool. Like the boat shoe one that he used to skate.
Oh, that's
Thought
right.
those
I
were
forgot
sick.
about that. The Sea Star.
Yeah, yeah. Those were sick. And then I remember once the 1-stars came back, I was like, this is like the greatest shoe.
And that's pretty much what Anthony's shoe was, right? Like was essentially a one.
No, his was like. If you look at it now, it looks really cheap. I guess it was. Yeah, it was pretty much a 1-star kind of like a little different here and there, but yeah, it was a 1-star, similar. But
Anytime
I don't know, now-
cars, I think of like Guy and Mouse, like that era.
yeah, so sick. Think of that. They had Guy Mariano, Pupecki on, and like
Rick
bombed.
Howard.
Yeah, I remember
would
getting
wear
those, the Dr. J's,
Yeah.
and we used to go to this place in the city to get them, and they were like $40, $45, and we would get them to skate in. I remember they weren't like skate ones. I don't think those were either. They just had Converse and dudes on it. Those were so sick. I think they did Dr. J's or something, I believe. They reissued.
did.
There was the hop shoe. They
Yep.
did that high top one, yeah. So they've had some cool stuff like that. I don't know. I don't see it up there though with like a Nike, even though Nike owns them. I don't see it up there with like I think they're a little lower tier, and a lot of those shoes, I'm going to say, aside from the Chuck Taylor, they all look the same. If you have a Louis, 1-star, all of
not
that,
on
they're
my
very, very similar.
radar at all.
Yeah, it feels like I know you say it's East Coast, but I feel like here West Coast, it's like a lot of the cool kids like Supreme-esque are really hyped on Chuck Taylors again.
Oh yeah, I
Or
meant
like-
fast breaks. Like the fast break seems
Yeah.
to be more like an out here thing. But yeah, the Chuck Taylor seems to be doing well everywhere.
Yeah. It's as a brand though, they've definitely probably fumbled maybe the most as far as like tried this shoe, no, that didn't work. Let's try this. No, we're gonna put more padding in the Chuck Taylor. No, we're gonna take it out. Like they're constantly experimenting, and that's probably just the Nike behind them. But I think that people really just want the black white Chuck Taylor or a black white 1-star, and like they could probably just do that and call it good, and just can all of the weird like Sean Pablo colorways and all that weird stuff. Like I don't think anybody really cares about that stuff.
Yeah, they kind of do what Nike's doing with those black and white dunks. Just always have that available, and then do a few other things on a more limited basis.
Definitely. All right, so basically, cons, who cares? On to the next one, gentlemen.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Vans.
Vans?
So, yeah, which I'm going to say, I remember, I don't want to say recently, but Gifted Hater was kind of like, yeah, Vans, they make the same shoe. You have access, you have all these other shoes. You guys just make one shoe over and over again. And it's pretty funny, after that came out, like, now they're doing all these other shoes. I thought that was pretty funny, but also good for them. They've been in skating forever. As corporate as they are, everybody's goal, I think, is to make money. So that they got that big is, they do really cool reissues. Salmonaga reissue, that was like one of my favorite shoes. So they managed to do that. The half cab, that they have the 92 half cab, so they've brought back the half cab actually how it should be is an option. Super sick. All the skate line, the stuff that's extra padded, that's cool. I still can't do Volk. I know people who love that Gilbert Crockett shoe. I have friends, numerous friends, who like swear by those shoes. So I don't know, but again, is that a sinking ship too? Everybody's, Justin Henry was like, "All right, peace, see you guys later."
They're at retail, they're blowing it. I mean, I just think that they're not doing a good job of taking care of their skate shop accounts. And to be honest, like most of the product is pretty like it's just not what people are looking for. It's just they're like trying. I think they're trying hard, but I think there's a lot of people at Vans that just really don't know what the hell is going on. And so you got a couple guys that are like holding it down, like Evan Shufflebine's a pretty high up guy there, and I love Evan, and everything that he's doing for the brand seems to be like right on point. But I think there's too many other people in that kind of world of Vans that are just like oblivious, And I mean, Lizzie Armanto's shoes like a pretty much a complete failure. The half cab, as much as I love it, man, they just are. Can we just calm down on the colorways? I feel like that's all they're doing. It's like, here, more half cabs. No, this is working more and more. And now people are just kind of over it and they're not even buying half cabs.
And there's
anymore.
like 6 different versions of the half cab, so you don't know what you're buying half the time. Like I would
irritating.
never skate in half cabs. Like I get people love them, but like my feet are not made to skate in half cabs. Like I just can't do anything vulcanized. But I tried to buy a pair, some shop collab, and I was like, I couldn't even get my foot inside it. Like just the way the shape and the tongue was and the padding, and it was like, I'm not.
Is that the new skate ones too with the checkerboard on the heel?
Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
I like how they fit, but I could see that being problematic for a lot of people. Like they're super snug. It's almost weird too how they have the red elastic straps on the tongue, and you can see them through the laces, like even not tied tight. Like it's a very snug fit. And I guess I'll also throw this at it from the shop perspective. They have the van stores open. They load the van stores with boards that they sell for $30 a piece because they don't care about them, just so they can say, I can get direct to customer and sell my Gilbert Crockett's and get full margins on them, which is pretty fucked. Like there should be things, if there's a skate shop in the area, there shouldn't be a van shoe, or the van store shouldn't be the van store, and it shouldn't be allowed to sell those shoes because they'll just open them up wherever, and that has to suck. You're like, well, I'm selling a shoe, but people are going to go to the mall to buy that same shoe. What's the point of me even carrying it? Kind of fucked up. But they'll have those boards in the store just to say, well, we're a skate shop. We can get the skate line. Kind of fucked.
Yeah, it's pretty dead on. It's
a bummer.
It's a bummer,
Go ahead, Dave.
We're both going to say the exact same thing. Go ahead, Mitch.
No, I mean, it's a bummer that they do that, but like I see where they're coming from, and but like you're saying, like there's a skate shop that's 10 minutes from me, and there's a van store that's 3 minutes from them. It's like, how are they supposed to? And you drop your shoe at their store the exact same day that you drop it at the van store. So the average person is walking into the van store because they're already in the mall. Not that anybody goes to the mall, but you know what I'm saying. Like the random person that's doing back to school shopping isn't going to the skate shop if they can walk by there. And like a lot of the Vans sales have to be like random people that don't skate that are just buying those shoes.
It's a shitty one. It seems like Vans was so big, and I don't see as many people wearing them anymore. No, it's just things I don't hate about it. Like I said, that they have their legacy line, I think, is pretty, or these shoes, their ability to have in the legacy lines, or when they drop them, like the full cab, like the Steve Caballero shoe. Like I just think they're sick. They redid that Mike Carroll, called it the 96. And they did it in really cool colors. I thought that was really cool. Old school era, skate highs. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Again, also it's just repetition, and there's no evolving there.
Yeah, I mean they fumbled the ball with Reynolds, so it's like just seeing that, like, yeah, you had him, he was down, and just let it.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
Well, same thing with Tony Hawk. Not that I think Tony Hawk is probably going to be exactly making me buy a pair of shoes, but seems kind of crazy when you have maybe the biggest guy in skateboarding ever on your team and you just let him get away. I don't really get it, but I in my head, Vans is the biggest, right? So shouldn't Vans be like everything they're doing be on the money, exactly what skateboarding and skate shops need? But it seems like it just like the ship is just afloat on its own, like ghost ship, and not really doing anything to kind of keep things afloat. So I don't know. I think Supreme, VF Corp buying Supreme, hoping the affiliation was going to do all those wonders for Vans, and both of those companies seem to be down in the market. So I don't know. I'm still just selling like black white half cabs, black white slip-ons, and black white eras, and that's pretty much all I'm selling.
It's crazy. Have you guys seen that like old bones therapy stuff?
Mm-hmm.
And their ad is basically like, well, now you can wear your skate highs all day. And it's like, well, what does that say about skate highs? Like, Vans should be so pissed that this is like your marketing. It's like, well, their insoles suck, so here, try these. But like you said, like it does suck that like they are hiring good people, and like there's people in there that like are trying to do good. Like the two guys around here that like work for Vans are amazing, and like are trying to do good things, and like have Vans involved in a bunch of things. But it's like there's only so much they can do.
The ship has sailed, so to speak, I guess.
Yeah.
Right, so Vans is blowing it. On to the next one. Asics.
It's a very interesting one.
It's cool. I think it's like when Nike SB started. I see that they're starting it very small, very selective. Had a cool, interesting little promo. I like the shoes. I like the people running it. Gino, Long Island, so sick.
And like Dave said about Nike diversifying, and like, dude, that team is diverse. Like, there's people from every pocket of skateboarding, and
it feels like it has that underground vibe where it's not like, I mean, eventually I'm sure that's going to change and they'll have their version of Jamie Foy or whoever the hell's on, but for now it just seems like it's a very low-key underground thing, and it's kind of, I guess because the shoes aren't everywhere, it's kind of cool like to have something that not everybody has yet. So I guess there's that mystique around it, and I love how the shoe skates. That's my go-to shoe. That's replaced the Dunk and the Tiago, the Japan Pro, so I'm all for it. I think it's pretty sick.
I really like everything they're doing. Like I don't know anybody at the brand. I know 35th North carries it, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to carry it at some point. But I've almost bought a pair multiple times, but I guess in my head I'm like, if I wear them to the store or if I'm wearing them out skating, people are going to ask when we're going to carry them. So I'm just kind of waiting. But I like everything. The video was great. I don't know how they're selling at retail. Like when I looked online, I felt like most retailers had sizes in some of the models, and then that there was maybe the Japan Pro and the Jelvica. That's the two main ones.
Yeah, those seem to do the best.
Yeah, those ones were sold out mostly in the good colors.
Yeah, and then they have like some new Volk one, and because I was looking online, and because I wanted to I was like, I'm almost due for a pair of skate shoes, and I was like, don't have this in my size, And I was looking at the Volk ones, and I was kind of like, eh. And they had full size runs of like there's like an all black. I think it's black with gum.
Yeah, the Aaron.
No, there's another one that's like cheaper than the Aaron. It's like
it's like just a small logo on the side.
Yeah, and that one they had.
I haven't seen that one in person yet.
And I think the Moon Boot one's my guess is, I don't know any of this, but I think that Moon Boot one's going to be done. That gel flex key.
Yeah, the Japan one that we saw like Markovich wearing like 5 years ago.
Yeah, I think those don't seem like they're going to be in the line. And then they're going to have, there's one, the NBD is going to be in. And it's almost like, I want to say it's like a cup sole eye shod. So it has a mesh inside. Has that gazelle, that soccer toe with the one piece in the front.
Oh, it looks like that is shod blazer, right? Where it was like suede on the one side and then the inside half is mesh. Yeah, those look thick. I want to see them in person too.
The color was sick. The materials were sick. Toe felt round for me on that shoe. That was my only issue with that. My flick was really weird in it, but that's just me, and I don't have a good kickflip, so like any aid I can get to that, or But it was the best colorway on a shoe. They felt really good, super flexible. So when that comes out, I think that'll be cool. And again, the best color was brown with an orange stripes on it and a gum sole. I thought they were super sick looking. But yeah, the Japan Pro and that Jelvica I think are really sick shoes. My favorite gripping soles.
I want to try that Japan Pro for sure. Like that. Ever since I saw Spirit Quest, I was just like, man, Asics looks so cool. I gotta get a pair of those. Like the aesthetic and it being kind of an outlier brand and just not being that common. I feel like that all of those things kind of draw me to it.
Yeah, and they're doing stuff outside of skate that's like making them a lot more relevant in like the regular shoe market. They just did that like the Asics like lifestyle stuff. Like they just did a dime collab.
Tried to buy them. They were in my cart, sold out within
so
like
fast.
I was on. We were hiking, and I was like, "No, that shoe drops right now. I have to stop and put everything down." I had service, and I had it in my cart, waiting to check me out. And then I said, "Nope, you didn't get them. Too bad." And I was like, I was on the app at the exact moment that the shoe went live. How did I not get it? So I was pretty bummed. But oh well, that's just how it goes.
Yeah.
Took the L.
Yeah. Well, coolest thing is I hit up Matt Town and I was like, hey Matt, you see all this like Asics is out with skate shoes, and he was like, yeah, they sent me some.
Oh wow.
Yeah, pretty sick. He said someone when they had Asics in Japan got him sent him shoes here.
Damn, that's cool.
Yeah, super cool. He was like, yeah, I'll skate again and try them, but who knows. But I thought that was so sick. They said, oh, you wore these, like you were the dude wearing Asics. Here you go. Like I thought that was really sick. So again, I love what they're doing over there. So
yeah,
thumbs up for Asics. Thumbs down for Vans. Next one. Last one.
Oh man.
Adidas.
So they definitely fall in that category of hiring good people. Like there's tons of skateboarders that work there. Like they were just here 2 weeks ago. Pete Eldridge, Paul Shire, like it was cool. It was a good program. Like everybody seemed psyched. Like they had Day One hanging out with everybody, and so that aspect of it, at least, like they're trying to get stuff going and get people interested in the brand again. But shoe wise, I don't know what's out there that people want to buy.
Are they, Dave, do you guys stock Adidas? Because that's another one I heard there was some weird shit going on where they were telling people you got to do an X amount minimum.
Yep.
And I heard this from a couple shops, and they said, cool, how do I place it? I don't have a sales rep. You're not sending me anything, so I'll do it.
Yep.
If you don't want me, tell me you don't want me. But I can place the order, but I have no way of placing this order. So I've heard that's an issue, and that sucks.
Yeah, we got that letter in the mail from Adidas. It happened a couple years ago. You had to have at least $10,000 in a year worth of sales to be considered an active account. They took away my sales rep, so we were just ordering off the B2B website. I had no idea what was available, how the B2B really worked. Seasonally, I didn't know how to pre-book shoes. I never saw samples. I never even saw line drawings. It would just be me checking the B2B, and I would like, oh, look at this, must be the next season of shoe. So since then, I now have a rep, and it's funny enough, it's actually my old rep that they took away before. And the reason they took our rep away is because we carry snowboards. So we were relegated to this weird action sports realm where we couldn't order the cool stuff. We weren't allowed, like, basically no marketing for us, even though we're one of the oldest skate shops in the country. And our other store up in Seattle, 35th North, they got access to all the cool stuff, which I don't blame them because they're on Capitol Hill, which is a very like high-end area and very visible. And they do a lot for the skate community, so I get that. But I was just really irritated, like, man, So I don't get the Gonz Aloha shoe. I don't get the Blondie shoe. You know, this is back when it was actually people wanted it. I feel like now the brand it's really struggling to kind of find its lane. And I mean, I'm selling superstars. I sell a few Taishons. That's about it.
Yeah, and that's what I feel like. That's all that there is. The I had a pair of Taishons I got at the outlets. I want to say it was the beginning of. It was in January or something. We were away, and I was like, oh, and it's just black, white stripes, and they were $49. So I was like, worst case, I'll wear them to work or something, you know. And I didn't mind them. I didn't mind them. I was super surprised I didn't, because it has a very round toe. And the first I was like, I hate these. And then like one day I didn't have skate shoes and I was wearing them to work, and I was like, oh, these are actually not awful. But yeah, the shell toes. I just hate it. The tongues are too thin on the shell toes. It bothers me. I wish they had a thicker tongue on those. And some of those weird insoles with that weird blue studded.
Oh, that ruined.
Yeah, they're so
that
weird.
first Suchu shoe ruined my foot for a good 2 years. I got the worst like blister plantar's wart thing from that cup, like rubbing up against the side of my toe. It ruined my foot. It was horrible.
I also hated the Booznitz, the one with like the soccer tongue,
Man,
like his actual shoe.
But they still make
we
it.
have such a fault.
I hated
Oh,
it.
go ahead. You hated it?
So
Yeah.
crazy.
No,
Yeah, it didn't grip. The soles do not grip on
they
those.
don't at all.
I know people who swear
Yeah.
by that shoe.
I have this demographic of like, I'm gonna call it like a slim 5-pocket pant, like maybe like a 5-panel hat kind of guy, you know, like that.
The graphic
Yep.
designer. The graphic
Totally.
designer.
And that's who that shoe is made for. And it doesn't. It's I would say a tech skater, but that's the least grippy sole I've ever tried to skate.
Yeah. I'm happy I'm not crazy on that, because seriously, I was like, how do people do this? This dude Tom Farrell here, who's like the dopest skater, would only wear those, you know? And I'm like, how do you do this? There's no grip.
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing. Sour beer always wore those, and
Yeah.
like, I just didn't understand it. But he did like that the sole's thinner in the front than it is in the back. Like under your
Yeah.
toes, it's the sole's a thinner.
So he had board feel and heel protection.
Right.
It's a cool shoe. I think some of the Adidas shoes are cool looking. That Aloha really piques my interest. That to me just looks like a really good skating shoe. That Mike Arnold Deluxe shoe, whatever. Really cool looking shoe. I don't know how it skates, but I thought it was a cool looking shoe.
But those are all like one-offs, right? Like they're not going to keep making them.
Well, the
Probably not.
Aloha is kind of in the line, and they kind of gear it for skate shops. It has a funky sole that kind of has these like the Adidas logo, the trefoil logo kind of repeating. And Gustav makes that shoe look so cool. So like
yeah.
just that
skater.
just that alone is like kind of an endorsement, but they just don't fit me. So I'm kind of like I'll definitely come clean. Like the shoe has to fit me, and there's a lot of shoes that don't fit, and I have yet to find an Adidas shoe that fits my foot. Like I'm in between sizes. My heel slips out. My heel slips out of a shoe. I'm not even going to waste my time. It's like, who did you make this for? What kind of foot do they have? Do they have elves feet? Like what? I don't get it. Like what? You have to lace it all the way to the top hole and look like it's a football and tie it as tight as I can just to get it to stay on my foot. Like I'm not going to waste my energy with that. So
Yeah.
Man, I had a couple year period, like 2016 to 2018-ish. Man, I'm going to totally blank. They kept making this shoe. It was like 3 letters, and then it was like a 001, 002,
3ST.
the 3ST.
Oh, those were the boost ones.
Yeah, so the 2, the 3, and the 4, I skated a ton of. Like, because they fit my foot, and I had like such a weird shaped foot that like anytime I can find something that fits right, I just keep wearing it and keep buying it over and over again.
So,
But yeah, those
but
3STs
the shoes
were
like shit, right? The 3STs.
yeah, I really liked them. All 3, like they were like slightly different shapes, but I could still wear them. And it was just one of those things where it was so hard to find a shoe to skate for so long that it's like I stuck with it, and then feel like it was like right when COVID started is when they kind of tanked and like all of a sudden they changed too. Or they were like really hard to get, and so I just kind of like gave up and had to find something else.
And what'd you find then, Dunks?
But that's when I went to Dunks. But that was also like right when all the Dunk hype kind of started.
I was very tempted to get non-skate shell toes somewhat recently, like, maybe like 8 months ago or something. Like, I really wanted to just be like, all right, chocolate, Rudy, Gabriel Rodriguez and, Paulo Diaz, like back then, like, I want black shell toes with white stripes, stock ones, not skate ones. But I didn't do it.
And put extra tongues behind them.
No, well, they had thick tongues, kind of like that. Remember the tongues being more padded on those than on these skate ones. I was so bummed. My friend Benson gave me a pair of they were shell toes and they were black. They were nubuck with white stripes, but they were just so thin. It was really awkward. I didn't like how they fit. I had to shugu tongues into the behind the other tongue. It was too.
Yes.
Sick.
They were. I don't want to tie them tight. Like same thing like Dave said. I do not want to tie. I just think that's an ugly shoe. Once you have to choke them out.
Yeah,
I
remember
loved how they skated.
they did those like throwback colors. We talked about that with Blair too, like the Joey Bast ones and the
So sick.
yeah, like I had the all black, the Drake ones,
Mm-hmm.
and they were
Yeah.
great at first, but they did like suede on the sides, and they were real. It was like there wasn't any shape to it, so it just blew out right at the right where it met the shell to the suede. They just fell apart.
Man.
And Adidas
Look was great.
Yeah, Adidas in skateboarding has kind of been crazy too. So if you go back, they had the first iteration with like Lance Mountain and Gauntz. Paulo Diaz was on there. Matt Beach.
The Norton.
Yep.
Right, it was the Norton was the shoe, and they were crazy looking, but I remember having them. I switched out the fat laces in them, and I remember they actually like didn't skate bad. It wasn't the worst. That was better than like Nike shoes at the time.
And then wasn't there like a phase where they just called it DOS?
Yeah, there was some kind of weird version.
It was just Gonz stuff. Because I remember
Yeah.
having like a sticker sheet with all this weird Gonz art, and it just all the stuff just said DOS.
So we've had an Adidas account this whole time, and there was like the whole era of the Super Skate, I think is what it was called. Adidas.
Yeah,
And then it was kind of predating the match court, but they had all these rubber kind of ollie patch slip-ons and kind of thin vulcanized shoes. Like Gauntz had a bunch of crazy colorways. And I remember seeing this shoe, and it was called the Gauntz Climacool. And it was like a weird cupsole shoe, and it had a hole in the middle of the midsole for the Climacool. So I remember like not knowing what it was. I ordered a pair for myself, and they showed up, and I was like, what the fuck is like, this is a skate shoe? Like what is going on? Like, so, being at 35th, this is next month, it's 22 years that I've been there. So seeing Adidas skateboarding program basically from, the end of the first era and then like the beginning of the current era where they first put on Booznits and, the Gazelle first came out. And then Gauntz had like a Stan Smith and a Superstar, and those were kind of crazy and mega padded. I feel like they have tried the hardest to do the most, like change up their program the most and try the most things, but they keep coming back to those like 4 or 5 shoes that seem to work.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like probably the right shoe for some people at that point, but like you said, man, this tongue's kind of thin. And like this shoe's kind of random, I don't know if I back this. And I did have one shoe that was kind of like adjacent to the skate program, and it was a Campus 80s for Brian Lottie. And I really liked that shoe. That was a good one.
I remember I had those.
So that was cool.
I had those. I didn't skate them, but I had them.
Yeah, that was a cool one. The sole did not grip, but they sure looked cool. So I definitely got them too. But
they made a bunch of those like ADV variations of the classic ones, but those soles were like super hard. So it was like I didn't understand when it's like you're taking the shoe that already exists and making it for your skate line, but making it harder to skate it than just the regular one.
I think you guys are going to make me get a pair of Superstars when I go back to work tomorrow and try them on, because now I'm thinking about Joey Bass, and I'm thinking about Drake Jones, and I'm thinking about like Gabriel and how cool they all look skating black shell toes with white stripes.
It's the dopest looking shoe. Like, I'm gonna say, like, out of everything, it's funny. Even when I had the Asics, the Japan Pro in the all black with the white, but I'm like, oh, this is like
It has that vibe.
an ode to that shell toe,
Yeah.
like that. This is like the same look. This is so sick.
Yeah.
It's funny how little things like that too. Like, that guy looks so cool. I want to have these shoes. It's it's timeless, and you can still get them. Like, I'm sure you could go to a Foot Locker or something and get stock. It's not helping the skate program any. Like, they need to make a normal pair.
I'm
Pad damn tongue.
I'm still 12 or 14 in my brain when I see a video and it gets me excited to like try something different, or to like, not that I necessarily think I'm that person, but you just, I don't know, I guess there's different ways that people are inspired by like the things people are wearing in videos, or skating. It's like, damn, that guy looks so cool. Like, I wish I could look that cool. Maybe I could try. No, I'm going to fall way short, but I'm going to feel cool inside that I've got it on, I guess. So
Totally. I'm happy I'm not alone with that. It's you see these things and it's like, oh, those look cool. I want to get those. I want to look cool too.
Steve will make fun of me, but I definitely bought a pair of those high top, like white Superstars when Welcome to Hell came out, because Alyssa looked so cool skating in them.
sick.
It's the best part of skating is that stuff. Pete Eldridge has these. I want to get them. It's why these companies sponsor these people.
Oh, dude, Pete's a perfect example of like, even when he had no sponsors, like when City went under and they weren't like, or maybe it was right before City, but when Bootleg went under, and like he had nothing, and like Gons was sending him boards just to like send him boards, and he was working like a regular construction job, but he always had Adidas on. He always was skating shell tops, and then through that City video, yeah, because him and Maldonado are both skating shell tops through like almost all of that.
Yeah, it looks so good.
Yeah.
Cool. So Adidas is.
Uh,
We're gonna do.
I guess. I mean, I think they got a little ways to go before they kind of get their skate program ironed out as far as like consistency with like those couple of styles. I think that the whole industry is kind of stuck where it's like, here's our one shoe that people want right now. Maybe we need to try and do this one shoe right. Like if people want shell toes, like let's really look at the shell toe and make it right. Or let's look at the dunk and try to make it the best version, or the half cab. I guess they're doing it with the half cab by making 2,700 versions of it. But I think Adidas is I don't know if they have the right person in place as far as like shoe tooling to be able to assess the Superstar and make sure they're doing it the service it needs to be done.
How does that forum do for you? Do you guys ever sell that one?
It's expensive and it's kind of dead, like we ordered an Atlas skate shop one, and that one we sold a couple pairs. The problem that I run into with that brand is that sometimes I just get a line drawing. Like there's a Heitor da Silva forum.
Hey Dave, are those height tours? Are they patent leather?
We talked about this the other day. They're kind of like maybe true patent leather. I feel like patent leather kind of has a stigma that it's shiny and like kind of raverish, and maybe that is a true patent leather because I'm comparing it to like an Osiris.
Yeah, these I can tell they're not patent. Like they're definitely a leather, but they're shinier.
Yeah, they just you saw a black forum. I was like, hey, Tor, black leather. This is dope. I got to order this, and it showed up, and I was like, what the fuck? How am I gonna sell this? Like it just not. I don't know. I just like there's a shoe right now. I don't know. Maybe I'll fuck it. I'll just say it. So they're doing a pro shell, which is like a shell toe kind of a mid with a Velcro strap.
They used to have that. Do you remember like Rob G was getting shoes and?
Yep, totally.
Not with the Torrent. You remember the Torrent, Dave?
Totally.
That's from the Deca videos, and but I remember they started bringing back the shell toes, and they had that one with the mid with the strap when they were like. They had like extra padding. Those were pretty cool at the time. Now they're probably moon boots.
I don't know. I just feel like it just feels like a ghost ship. Like a lot of these brands feel like ghost ships. Like they're just like, oh, the rider wants this. Let's do it because we want to do what the rider wants to do. And like, all right, but is anybody going to buy it? That's where I just think that's the problem that every skate shop, every brand is having. It's like you keep thinking you're going to make all these shoes. Like, is anybody going to buy it? Fuck, I don't know. Hopefully, but probably not.
Yeah, like that clear Blondie shoe that they're doing again.
Kill me.
It didn't do well the first time, so why are you doing it again?
Dude, and you know what? We missed it the first time, and all I was trying to do was like, damn, Blondie, that, like, everybody wanted that shoe. I better pre-book it 6 months ago, right? And then by the time it shows up, I'm like embarrassed to put it on our Instagram because I'm just like, this is not what people are trying to buy right now. Like, the world has just changed that much.
I thought it was crazy. Like, he's not even in skating anymore. That they gave him that shoe again. Thought that was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, his
Like
brand
I said,
is gone, right?
Yeah. It's just the brand itself, Adidas. They need some serious help. I'll just leave it at that.
Did you get the purple Cater?
I did, and it took a long time, but we sold through most of them.
So, like you said, there's that, and then you'd have the Tyshawn Self, pretty much, right?
Yeah, Tyshawn
Okay,
Lowe just got retooled, you know, but it has its customer. I feel like none of the shoes are killing it. It's like it's got a couple people, so you're like, cool, I sold a 10.5 and an 11, mail ordered an 11.5, maybe in an 8, and then I've still got the rest. But I have to pre-book at least 10 units of a shoe. They won't let me, 10 pairs doesn't sound like that much, but to a small store like ours,
Yeah.
so that's like 2 9s, 2 9.5s, 2 10s, 2 10.5s, 2 11s.
At $100 shoe.
Yeah, that's a lot to sell. I don't think most people, like, you would think every skate shop's killing it. Like, hey, how come you can't sell this? But it's like, I'd rather just, like, Blondie's shoe would have been cool if I could order 4 pairs or like just to have it on the wall. Then like, oh, cool, you do have that. That's kind of crazy. Instead of me being stuck with, I don't know, 9 pairs. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Right, like when they did that shoe for Jamal a year or two ago. Like, that thing was crazy looking, but I can't see a shop having to order 10 pairs. Like, you said 4 or 5, like do a small size run or something, but 10's a lot. Like, locally, obviously, we're going to move them here, but a shop like yours where it's like Jamal's never been to Seattle or whatever, it's like...
Pretty wild, man. Like, the downfall, like, there was a time Adidas was like big shit, and,
Well, didn't they lay a bunch of people off, though?
Yeah. Well, like you said, you got your rep back. I think there's people who never got their rep back. I know they pulled out. They're not in Bunger anymore, I don't think. A couple others.
Yeah, they pulled out of some shops, too.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, whatever.
I'll blame Dill for everything.
Yeah. Is that, Dave, did you ever hear that one? When one of the ones you cut out, Mitch was telling me that the no sales rep thing was a Dill thing.
No, it came from the inside. It definitely wasn't Dill inspired. My friend Ryan was working there at the time, and then he left. He actually started at Converse and then went to Adidas, and then he's kind of made some moves throughout the industry. But
he's not at Lakai now, right?
No, he's not at Lakai now. No, but it's he shared some interesting stories just about the way things work there, how it was changing, how they were Adidas was taking departments of their company and kind of like smashing them together. So it's kind of like skate was kind of being lumped in with some other lifestyle aspects of Adidas. And so it just wasn't as much of a priority anymore and was maybe going to lose being more of a team specific thing and just going to, at one point it was just going to be like, here's a couple of shoes. There's no team, there's no nothing, but obviously something changed and they were able to resuscitate it. And now there's some new people coming back to the inner workings of the brand. I think that probably happens consistently as a lot of these brands realize skateboarding is still kind of the flavor maker as far as like a lot of fashion and kind of like being pop culture now, like at the forefront. So yeah. It's hard when people don't like to hear when something they're doing maybe is like not looked upon fondly, that's just people take it really personally and you can't. It's like just part of the job. You got to take criticism, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. The way I see it is take the damn criticism and actually like look in the mirror and say, what can I bring back to these dudes? Like, hey, I am having problems. So here's some points some people brought up. Like, does any of this make sense to you? Anything you think? What can we work on? I don't know. But anyway,
I agree with all of it.
Yeah. I think, and again, it's like, it would be cool to have a brand like that What was it? There was a shop had them I saw today. It was buy one get one free. Look high.
Yeah.
Kinetic, yeah. Buy one get one free.
Harsh.
Yeah. And it's just this pile of crappy shoes like the lime green, yeah, right, Cambridge and
Color
other stuff in
changing
the pile.
ones, yeah.
Yeah, so bad. But Dave, thanks for coming on, being our
Sure.
shop consultant expert. Yeah, we need to
Can
have you
I-
on more.
Can I plug 2 things from my friends?
Please do.
Of course.
All right. I'll plug it's all Tacoma based because since I'm from Tacoma, Washington, Authentic Skateboards, which is at Authentic Skate Supply on Instagram. And then we actually started a local like a skate zine, and so it's called Adjacent Bias. And so that's Tacoma based, and we're just covering all Northwest skateboarding. So if you're on Instagram, I guess go check them out because they're doing cool stuff.
Awesome. So
Authentic.
Authentic.
Authentic. Is it a shop?
Oh, it's a skateboard company. My friend Mason
Okay.
does it, and it just those guys are out in the streets fixing spots, giving back to the community. Like working on a documentary right now about a local skate park that's going to probably be gone here pretty soon, and just like they're just down for skateboarding and good energy and like no, like there's a lot of small brands that seem like maybe there's some bad vibes and kind of egos and things like that, and it's just everybody is just down for skateboarding, which is like it's kind of refreshing.
Sick.
Awesome.
Shout out to Herbert Brown.
Yeah, let's go.
Best skater. Herbert Brown, best skater in the universe.
Yep.
Hands down.
Yeah, go buy his
Totally.
board. If
On
they're
that
good.
note. Yeah. Oh, Dave, did you get some of them?
We did. We definitely sold a few. I'm pretty hyped.
Sick. That's
Yeah.
great to hear. I'm happy Herb's still, doing his thing, has a board out again on Politic. So, awesome. We'll end it on that. I'll show some clips of Herb, and we're out of here until next time.